This piece is a continuation on the theme of dust particles, and it's called Grey Mud. Sitting at the corner of Nowhere Street and Forgotten Way, on a green slat bench, a young woman next to me, huddled over slightly, hugging herself, wearing a black cardigan, long-sleeved even on this summer day, eyes looking downward. And so there we were, sitting at a bus stand with no shelter from the weather, on a green slat bench, paint flaking, baked by sun, worn by rain, rubbed by commuters, shoppers, the homeless, waiting long minutes for buses, friends, or just waiting for nothing, with no intention of getting on a bus and no inclination to go anywhere at all, like me. Not today. Today the warm sun falls upon the bridge of my nose, semi-dulling the headache that spreads across my forehead. Again, always again, wearing off the hangover, waiting for the bar to open as people walk past in a hurry, even mums pushing prams, hurrying in and out of stores with glowing window frontages, small children towed behind, some crying, being scolded. Only the pigeons are still, perched high on the skyscraper cliffs, or bobbing their heads at my feet, looking for crumbs of imagined sandwiches. Unlike the fidgeting sparrows, impatient, soon flitting off, for they are never fooled. And then a bus stops. Nameless faces get off and scurry away into the large corporate boneyard. Slaves to the computer wasteland, martyred to pixelated cogs that have replaced the doom and gloomy looms and belt-driven factories of the Industrial Revolution. And these disembarking passengers moving through this Orwellian landscape are as dispensable as the seconds ticking off the face of the watches they continually watch. And now others climbed up onto the bus and take their places, replaced their faces, and the bus roared off, sending dust up from the curb, dust from the pavement, dust from the passing traffic, dust settling on the windows of office building, even after rain, always dust, and the dangling spider-like, abseiling window cleaners descend down the glass facades, wiping off yesterday's dust from these ivory-arched, glistening office buildings that appear and disappear, all shining, new, streets changing, skyline changings, and the suits never changing, black, mostly black, black shoes scuffing the dull concrete pavement that try to shine, blue suits and brown shoes, brown the colour of earth, the colour of mud. Even in the old black and white photographs with dull grey ground, you can see the brown mud, appearing monochrome grey in old photographs of wars long ago. Lines of white-faced grey uniformed men surrounded by grey mud. Nameless men, nameless faces. Faces that look the same as ones in black and blue suits that scuff past me now. But these suited faces are more solemn, dismissive, expressionless, and always unsmiling. Unlike those smiling faces in uniforms with little reason to smile, yet they smile with smiles of hope, unknown hope, perhaps lost hope, smiles lost in time, their personal history lost in time. Impossible to put names to them, connections with families, their mothers or wives, holding the only thing that remains of them, the memories in their hearts and fading photographs, their fading smiles, disappearing, perhaps within minutes, hours, days afterward, their dreams lying in grey mud. Or if they made it home, how different was it to the homes they left? God was now a stranger, no longer their God, no longer welcomed. Their minds irreparably changed, riddled with uncertainty, struggling to adapt, carrying wounds internally far more disabling than the external scars of battle, and many eventually driven to seek an eternal quietness, lost. And the woman next to me, still looking down, is not smiling, rocking in her own hugs. Then she opens her handbag and pulls out a pack of cigarettes. Long, thin fingers draw one to her lips, puffing tentatively with shallow breaths. She raises her head unconsciously as an airliner drifts by above, hanging from the clouds, hovering, seemingly motionless, carrying the sun on its wing across the harbour like an ancient god. And the seagulls glide below through shadows, squawking. And then the young woman stood up and followed its flight, walking somewhere, nowhere, eyes down, hugging herself, puffing on a cigarette. And now it's noon on Nowhere Street. A lunchtime frenzy of corporate escapees swarm into cafes and sushi outlets. Suits and now t-shirts, some bearing the logos of sporting gods. Jeans, the latest fashions. Everyone displaying the same individuality, conformity. Even when trying to be different, they conform. Cyclists, each a Tour de France rider in their own mind. Lunchtime joggers, people carrying gym bags, corporate lunchtime sports team. Everyone living on the edge of contentment, fragile, an argument, a disagreement, a misunderstanding, that fear of not fitting in, being on the peripheral, the fear of loneliness, lost.